Okay, folks, so I think it's been kind of funny. Now, I'm not going to say this has gone viral. I don't think I could count something as viral until, like, I don't know, Shade Room or Baller Alert or somebody picks it up. But it's about the post I made about a week ago on Instagram and basically all my other socials. But Instagram is where it really took off. Everybody had something to say about my personal picks for the Mount Rushmore of Tyler Perry characters. Medea, Mr. Brown, Veronica Harrington, and Fatima. And when it comes to Veronica, a lot of people felt like, no, take Veronica off of there and put Candace Young. And for the first time in a while, I've seen people in the comments of one of my posts talking about the haves and the have-nots. And I think it's really funny because somebody's like, yo, Jeremy, man, just thinking about, your picks for that Mount Rushmore and, the haves and the have-nots. It just got me to thinking about how, just in general, Hanna wasn't a good mom. She raised two awful children and whatnot. And, I mean, that post got a good amount of likes, but at the same time, I'm like, this isn't new to me. It really isn't. I mean, it isn't just going back to Hanna Young specifically as a character, but it's just the fact that the way she was built up, she was like the last person standing. I guess, if you want to go back to the series finale and the final scene where she ran Jim over or ran him down, whatever you want to say, basically hit him with her car. I guess Tyler's message was like, yeah, the one person that stayed true to their faith and, their morals made it out on top compared to everyone else who felt like they had to, walk over other people and do whatever it took to maintain power. But the have-not was the one that stood at the top of the mountain when all was said and done. But even though Hanna was the one that made it, you got to think about it from this perspective. She lost both of her children. I mean, Benny got killed, but she didn't know that. She literally cradled Candace's dead body in Jim's bathtub, and that was it. I mean, not only that, she cradled her grandson. Oh wow, what's his name? Q, right? Quincy Jr., right? So Q. Yeah, so her grandchild got shot down too. So Hanna lost a lot. Yeah, so at the end of the day, you could argue that her being executor to the Cryer estate means that when all was said and done, she ended up on top, owning the Cryer estate and having more money than she would ever need. And I guess debatably, she still does have a grandchild because remember how Tyler decided to randomly insert this woman that Benny had sex with in the bathroom at a club during a birthday party or something and got her knocked up, and she came and she turns out, hey, this is Benny's baby. So I guess technically she still has somebody. But when you look at Hanna Young as a person, I think Tyler kind of missed the mark. Well, then again, I wouldn't say he missed the mark because this is real. Because typically it's the people who seem to be the most holy, sanctified, and self-righteous. Well, they don't always have the best record because sometimes they can be very hypocritical. I mean, think about the fact that and I remember pointing this out a lot when I was doing the reviews for the later seasons of the show. When regardless as to what Candace did to the Cryer family, it didn't matter what it was. She would not allow Catherine to say anything negative about her daughter in her presence, which it's like this woman slept with this woman's husband. This woman manipulated our daughter, and it wasn't directly, but she was somewhat, responsible for her death. I mean, and then from there, she extorted money twice from the Cryers, one from Jim directly, and the other from, it was Wyatt's inheritance. So essentially, she has extorted. Okay, wasn't the first time like 3.7 million or something. Yeah, and then the Wyatt inheritance was like 7. So yeah, she's extorted. Look, it's been years, people. I forgot, but I know she took well over $10 million from the criers. David via Oscar was able to get back the first extortion, basically what was left of it. And then when it came to Wyatt's inheritance, if memory serves, she never gave that back. She never gave that back. And that was awful because of the fact that the longer she kept it, the more happened to, the criers, whether it be Jim threatening them or Jim having Benny stabbed. And, she would get on Jim for disrespect and threatening the family. But it's like, Hanna, I hate to say it, but I kind of side with him. I mean, think about it. Your daughter stole millions from his family bank account. And you expect there to not be any repercussions? Like, all you do is wag your finger telling Candace, Benny, so long as you keep that money, you're not allowed under this roof. Okay. And then, didn't she threaten to call the cops herself, but she never did? So, I mean, you can't expect your children, because remember, she gave Benny half the money or something like that. And I remember Hanna just being mad. But the thing about it, there were two things that really pissed me off about Hanna. One being what I just went on about, the fact that you can't expect the victims of extortion by your own daughter to not retaliate. Like, Hanna, you're just sitting up there self-righteous defending hey, at the end of the day, that's still my daughter. I don't give a crap. She took millions that don't belong to her. This wasn't like she manipulated Wyatt and he gave it to her or something like that. She flat out stole this money. And I think that she had lured Oscar up to her hotel room, drugged him to the point where, what's his name? RK had to come. Oh, what was it? RK or was it, no, I think it was that British dude, the one who was like a bartender, the one who was running a prostitution ring in Catherine's hotel. He had to come up, if I remember correctly, Rocky had to come up there and resuscitate Oscar, or he was going to die. And while he was, out of commission, Candace went on his computer, stole the passwords, and transferred the money to her account. So basically, your daughter nearly killed someone to get this money, and you keep barking at her to give it back. And every time she says no, well, you're not welcome around here anymore. So you can't expect these high-level elite people in society to just turn the other cheek and not go after your kids for keeping that money. It's stupid. It really is. And the worst part, the other part, and believe it or not, I feel like this is probably the worst thing about Hanna. Benny wasn't my favorite character. And and what made me mad is that they never fully addressed it within the series itself, about how his personality drastically shifted after he came out of the coma from Wyatt hitting him when he was drunk and driving back in season 1. Now, remember, Catherine swooped in and saved Benny's life, because if he was just restricted to that county hospital, he would have died. And Catherine took him and put him in the good hospital, if you will, within the city, and paid for all the bills and everything. And here's who was my issue with this. Hanna decided for herself that Catherine taking it upon herself to take care of her son's medical expenses and whatnot, saving his life. She decided that was Benny's payback. It's like, hey, that woman took care of you. But here's the thing, though. Hanna, just because you and Catherine are friends, that doesn't mean you get to decide how much is enough for your son's well-being. Benny was the victim. He was the one, doing his tow trucking thing, and then Wyatt came out of nowhere and ran him over. He was the one clinging to his life in that hospital bed. So he should be the one to decide whether or not he should sue the criers, because Candace was going to help him do it, get an attorney and everything, because she even got Michael involved, the grandfather of little Lizzie, the little girl that Wyatt hit. And Hanna came up in there and busted that party up when Candace had an attorney that could help them sue the criers. And it's like, wow, Hanna, you're protecting your friend, but it's like you weren't the one that was left near death in the street like roadkill. So Hanna was certainly a piece of work, and yeah, I wouldn't call her necessarily a bad person, but she wasn't the greatest mom. And it's just that your loyalties can't be split all these different ways. Like, you can't protect your kids from the consequences of their actions. You scold them, but like I said before, this isn't like they, I don't know, stole a candy bar from a store. They stole millions of dollars. So what's crazy to me is that you'd stop Candace from helping Michael and Benny sue the Criers for a crime that they were the victims of. But you just scold Candace for taking millions from the Criers without making her give it back or call the cops on her. And then on top of that, Catherine has gone above and beyond in terms of helping your ungrateful tale. And you wouldn't, ensure that the family would get back the millions that they deserve. Because it's theirs to begin with. I don't know. Hanna, yeah, when you really go back and look at it, Hanna wasn't really the greatest character. I mean, but I get it. She was a flawed person. But at the same time, she was one of those hypocritical Christians. She certainly was. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't get me wrong. I still like her as a character. Crystal Fox played her to a T. Excellent. But at the same time, Hanna was just like, I don't know. How do you feel about her? But I will say that she certainly, in my opinion, does not deserve to be up on the Mount Rushmore Tyler Perry characters. As I explained in my video, it certainly was a toss-up between Candace and Veronica, but Hanna wasn't even part of the conversation for me.